Well, good morning, folks. This is Granny with Granny and Grumpy's Homestead. And I had a project that I started. It's probably been a year and a half ago. I finally got around to making one of the aprons. And the other thing that I made first was I made one pot holder. I'd never made a pot holder before, and I wasn't really sure how thick it needed to be able to repel getting burned. And so I decided I would make one and I would try it for a while. Well, a while turned into a year and a half. And so since I have got the sewing machine in my bedroom now, it makes it impossible for me to ignore it. And so I thought today I would make another pot holder. That way I've got a set. And then I have another set that I can make to give away to somebody. But anyway, I made this one. So let's make the next one. I want to show you how to make these because they're quite easy actually. So I'll let you get a little closer look at how the design is. I just made squares is all. I wanted it to be very much where it wouldn't pull apart, you know, from like separate each layer. I wanted it to stay together. So I thought these little squares would be the best option. So they're about an inch wide. Okay, so let's get up and get this all faced to the right direction. Okay, so you want black thread because the background of all of this is black. And so that's what we're going to use. Now, what I did on the original one, I took, well, let me show you what I've got here so you'll understand. Okay, so you need to use the bias. You need to make the bias strips. And so when it was across the full part, there were very long bias strips, and you put them on the cross grain. In other words, this is how it would go up and down normally. Okay, you see the selvage edge? But you're going to cut a cross grain because go like, okay, let's look at this on this one. Fully. All right. So here is the edge, the selvage edge. And so this is how the fabric sits when you're looking at it. And here would be your fold side. So what you want to do is you're going to you're not going to go with the lengthwise making strips. You're going to go with crosswise. So you would cut here, throw this part away, and then make it however wide you're wanting this to be in the end. And you would make it that wide and cut strips. And you would cut and measure it with a measuring device, you know, whether it's a 12-inch ruler or a yardstick, or in my case, I was using this, which is a 6-inch ruler. It's your hem gauge. Because what I can do is I can put that spacer on however wide I wanted it to be. And then your next step that you're going to do is you're going to go and you're going to, after you sew them together, well, I'll show you on this. Okay, so when you're sewing it together, and in fact, maybe I'll make one for you real quick just so you'll see and understand what I'm even talking about. Okay, so you're going to take it and lay it down like this. But in order to make it so that it's going to go length, it's going to keep going, you know, like this, then you've got to go like this. Now, I hope you're understanding me correctly. Let's see here. Didn't quite cut this right. Okay, we can make it work by doing it that way. So you want everything to be, I'm not sure what the math term is, or the term period. It's not perpendicular, but it's, well, anyway, you don't really care whether you're going into the selvage edge that's colored because it's colored. You know, so it doesn't really matter. You do want to care when it's the white edge. So we are here on this edge here. So we're going to have to make it so that it's laying corner-wise. And we'll start here. Remember, hold on to your thread when you first get started. Go back and forth. Okay. All right, now. And maybe you'll see and understand what I'm talking about. I'm hoping. If not, write in the comment that you didn't understand. And then you want to cut it so that it matches the width all the way up. All right, now then you're going to go to your ironing board. And you see how it looks? It just keeps making a strand all the way. Okay, so this is what I did here. I just kept making a long strand. And here's where, you know, it came together. Now, on this, because this is cotton, I will tell you this, that you do want to, after you get to that finished part and you've cut it to, you know, to be the same width all the way up, you do want to do a zigzag on this inner edge because it can unravel your fabric, not your stitch. Your stitch may unravel, but it won't matter as long as you reverse it. Then we put it back on straight stitch so we don't start out doing zigzag. Believe me, ask me how I know because I've done it many, many times. So I've been trying to teach myself not to do that anymore. Okay, so you see you have that, how that looks. And then we just go to the ironing board and we just iron it so that it's flat. And so you just keep making a chain, a chain, a chain, a chain. See, here's another one where it was put together. Here's another one where it's put together. Here's another one where it's put together. Because you may have short ones, you may have long ones, but you still need to use this fabric. And so then what we will do is we're going to go back with the iron, and now that we've got it actually ironed in half, we're going to go back and we're going to do this number. We're going to take the edge of the where it was cut, and we're going to iron this down here. Iron this down. And we're going to do it on both sides so that what we end up with is this. So look, folks, we've got bias tape. And see, this will turn because it can stretch because it's on the cross grain rather than going with the lengthwise or the side to side grain. It's going catty cornered. So I'm going to real quick get the ironing board set up so that I can do this real fast. Okay, so our machine, our iron is ready to go. So we're going to open this up. I really quickly went back over it again with an iron so it had that crisp line. We want to go on the outside edge and fold this down so that we can make a very crisp edge. Now this is exactly how you make bias tape so that you can use, because if you saw, you notice that I had bought, it was just too much work to make bias tape for the apron. So I just went ahead and bought black because the predominant color in the fabric background is black. And so I wanted to have everything matching because that's the way I am. So, woo, it's hot. So I hope you can see this. Let's see. See if you can. I think you can see what I'm doing. Now that'll make it a little bit bigger. Now let's go back and we'll work with the other side so you can see how it looks when it's finished, and then I'll finish ironing and then I'll get back over there. That way you don't have to be bored to tears with watching every little tiny process, because this is not something I would want to speed up in a video. This is tedious and you need to be able to see what's happening. Alright, getting close to having this, you know, this little bit of space. We're almost got it finished. Not quite yet, but getting close. When I get to where I'm almost finished with where I went to, then we'll see what it looks like finished. Okay, so we're there. Let's back it up and let's fold it over and show you the finished product. See how it looks? Isn't that nice looking? All nice crisp lines. It's very crisp looking. Makes it easy when it's ironed real good. There we go. To that point. And this is bias tape. Okay, I'm going to finish this and then we'll get to the next step. Okay, so now that we've got our bias tape made, we can actually get down to business. We'll put the bias tape back here and we'll bring the actual object here. So what we're going to do is we are going to start out with it being on this line here, and then after that we'll do it on on the 6/8, because I think that's what it actually ends up being. Each line you want to go back on. Now you're going to want to reverse on. Okay. Granny is very thirsty this morning. Okay. As you continue learning how to sew, you will be able to start gauging what 5/8 and 6/8 seams are. And this is a 6/8. Now we didn't do it We made it wider here because we're going to have our bias tape along this edge. And so I didn't want to cut into all of this, but we may have to. We're just going to see how things go for the moment. If everything looks like it'll be okay with doing it just the way we're doing it, then we'll do it that way. I will have to say, I am very grateful to the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit that they have made it so that I could be a homemaker. Oh, I've done little jobs here and there, part-time jobs, but nothing where it was a grueling 40 hours a week, except for when I babysat other children, and I've done that for off and on for 42 years. But I'm just so glad that I've been able to be at home to work, except for when I was working with Uber, because I just needed to be with people and I was just so tired of being alone. And so I worked with Uber for 2 full years. It might have been a little bit more than 2 full years. Let's go ahead and do this one because it looks like, okay, it's going to be right there. It looks like we're going to need to have it slowed down. So we're going to go ahead and just do it to it. And I'm also very glad that this sewing machine is finally working at its top speed, instead of being so slow. I love to sew. I just don't always have time, and it depends also on what it is that I'm making. Sometimes there's things that I don't like doing, and if I don't like doing it, then I'm not happy about doing it, and I just kind of put it off forever. But short little jobs are what makes the world happy, because then you don't have to worry about getting everything done in a rush. And it's something that you can do quick and, you know, just, it's done. It's done and finished. People are always asking me to teach them how to sew, but in all fairness, I just don't have time. If I could teach a class, when I was in the 11th grade and I went to Fletcher Academy, I actually did teach the kids how to sew. I had 2 boys in the class, which one of them ended up marrying one of my cousins, and then the other boy married, that boy that married my cousin married his sister. So, you know, they made men's shirts, and they did very good. They were actually very good seamstresses. Well, I'm not really sure why I'm so thirsty, but man alive. Well, it's because of what I ate. It had probably way too much salt in it, most likely. Almost through. And then we'll turn it and go the other direction, side by side, so that we can do the sides, the sideways part. Okay. Now we're going to go along and cut the edges so that everything's even, Stevens, with our material. Because we have the stuffing fabric. But we need to have everything cut where it should be cut so that when I go back to put this bias tape on, it's right. Okay, we got that done now. Well, we really need to work on under here. Okay. Now let's start on this side. We're going to go every 6/8. We'll cut these as we go instead of waiting to the end. Grumpy has gone to Wake Forest today to work in a church. He's helping to construct the handicap ramp. It's a Seventh-day Adventist church that's there, and they're almost finished and ready to occupy. Okay. Closer and closer to finishing our squares. Yay! I'm really enjoying making these. I could do this all day. In fact, I've considered making, you know, the material I purchased for my curtain. Oops, what am I doing? I'm using the wrong one. Now we're doing it right. Not paying attention while I'm talking. The material that I made the mini valances with, when I went back, I was going to make a tablecloth, and I went back to the store to buy the material, and I got there, and the material was like $7 a yard. It wasn't any off like it was when I went to purchase the mini valance material. I said, oh no, I'm not. I'm not paying that price for it. I'll just wait until they get 30 or 40% off again. But I could do it if I do, if I make my own, what do you call them? Not a tablecloth, but they're the little mats. They're placemats is what they're called. I can make placemats and do this to it, because I love doing these squares. I mean, you get things done a lot quicker because, you know, I'm just about done. Uh-oh. We're out of bobbin thread. Okay. See. All right. I can hear somebody's chickens in the background. I heard a rooster crowing. I didn't know we had any chickens that close around us. Grumpy and I would love to have some chickens. It's just, it's so difficult to go off anywhere. And, you know, we're wanting to go to see Robbie and Olga and the children. In December 28th. And we really can't, if we had many more animals, it would be very difficult to have anybody here to watch, because we've got the 5 dogs. Man, this is tight. Let's see if we can get it. There, finally. Okay. Well, now that's a problem. We're out of thread. If it ain't one thing, it's another, isn't it? That's life, though. You know, life is just always a bowl full of cherries, isn't it? Well, goodbye. Let's see if we have any more. I have lots and lots of thread over here. There is a possibility, slim as it may be, that I have some more black. And that looks like that's not black. That's gold. That's got lots of navy. Let's see here. That's brown. There's some more black. Oh, man. Okay. Almost all normal sewing machines are similar when you are, you know, threading it. It doesn't matter how old it is. They're very similar to each other. Oh, excuse me. Now, there's not much. Oh, I forgot to fasten it back. There's not much difference. The only ones that are really, really different is some of the extreme expensive ones might have some things that are a little bit different. So, okay, we will start here. Okay, now let's get started with this part. All right, so we've got this long tail here that we need to take care of. Put that off. We want to fold this under like that to get started. And then we're going to open up the bias tape and set the edge down the center of this, and then we will fold it over. Let's go back. Almost finished. I hope you've been able to see and understand what I'm doing here. And you don't want it on the very edge, because if you do, it's just going to come off. We'll go over that with the zigzag in a few minutes. We're going to attach this little tail. We're going to turn it like this, and then we'll tack it down across here and here, so that you can have, if you want to hang it up, you know, like you have on most ones that you store by. So we want to do the same thing to this. And we'll turn it around, and we shall zigzag it, and we'll go all the way around with the zigzag. We're trying really hard not to break this needle. We broke one earlier. Not on this, but we broke it on the apron. Let's go back before we go any further. We'll snippety snip these little there, tail ends. Okay. Okey-doke. And we're done. We are absolutely done. And we want to look over our project. Make sure it's all done correct. Because from this side, everything looks great. Let's see what this side looks like. Okay. All right, see here we got some that's out of whack. And so we got to go back and overdo that. So it doesn't fray. Okay. It doesn't have to be perfect anyway, you know, because I didn't have a lot of fabric to work with. So that's why it was short. There was some gaps in places, but I was trying to use up every little bit of my fabric that was left over. So some pieces had some gaps. But anyway, so here is the way it looks when you're finished. And I have to say, the other one, I have used it, like I said, for a year and a half. And I have truly enjoyed using this. I can't tell you why it makes a difference, unless it's just that subconsciously I'm thinking I made this. You know, I'm not really sure. But anyway, this is what we got finished. And, whew, ouch. I dropped some fabric under the sewing machine. I need to pick it up because it's stuff to make the bias take with. So I hope you can see me. But this one's been washed many times. So this one's new and has not been washed at all yet. So I'm really excited about using these. This one here was more squared. This one's oblong, and that's perfectly fine because all we care about, most of them were made oblong because this was a smaller piece of fabric that was left. But anyway, I hope that y'all enjoyed watching me put this together. I hope you're able to make something like this for yourself. If you buy a piece of fabric and you've got your measurements all calculated in your head, and you can actually make a lot more of these and spend a lot less money on having a quality item than you would buying something at Walmart or at the thrift store or something. It'll be a much better product. So have a blessed day. And as you can tell, it's sunshiny outside. And we love you. But more important than anything in this world, folks, and I really mean this, is that Jesus loves you. He loves you with an everlasting love. And with loving kindness, he draws you to him. So don't resist him. Accept Jesus and ask him to come into your heart. Because I'll tell you what, life is not worth living without him. It may seem like it for a short period of time till you finally run out of go juice of nothing left. I mean, there's just nothing there. And life becomes very much a drag. But with him in your heart, life can be so joyous and so wonderful. We'll see you tomorrow. You have a blessed day. Bye-bye.